Alright, here we go. Am I roughly?
Yeah. Hey, looking good.
Alright. Hello, world. I'm David. That's Dylan.
Woo!
Behind the camera. We made this company called That Would Be Badass.
Inc.
Incorporated, yeah. It's trademark, don't steal it. You can say it all you want. Our first major product debut is this thing right here. It is called the Bangarang 30 because it's 30 inches long and it's awesome enough to be called the Bangarang. Because we know why it's awesome, now we need to tell you why it's awesome so that you think it's awesome enough to spend your awesome money on it. And
awesome.
Because you guys just won't understand the awesome unless we show you all of the awesome. So, the history of the boat is I've been shaping and designing boats and stuff since I was like a little tiny kid, and I always wanted an RC boat that I could just drive the shit out of without worrying about anything, just have it put up with the most ridiculous abuse that I could dish out. In my 20-year span of doing hobbies, I've never actually run across a product that can do that. I took it upon myself to design it myself, and this is it. I had to design it myself because there is nothing in the world like it. The overall boat, it's 30 inches long, it's 12 inches wide, it's, I don't know, like that tall, and it's got a fairly aggressive V bottom, and the hull has been optimized for riding waves in the ocean, in salt water. We've been working on this for 3 years. This is our 4th and a half version now. We've spent a lot of time and a lot of money and a lot of blood and sweat and quite literally tears trying to make this as awesome as we possibly can. So the main goal of this boat is to be able to drive it in ridiculously hazardous wave conditions. The entire design is centered around that. It's designed to be as rugged and reliable as possible with as little maintenance as possible. A lot of boats in the market, what you need to do is actually use this stuff called hatch tape to seal up all the the seams on the hatch and everything like that. That is what I would classify annoying, so I didn't want to deal with that. So I put in this really cool feature where it has this nice neoprene O-ring that goes all the way around the sides. It does a pretty damn good job at keeping the water out, and that was one of the major engineering challenges with this. Another design feature of it, and a critical one, is that I don't want to have to go and swim out to my boat and flip it over when it's in like 10, 12 foot waves or it's cold and I just don't want to get wet. It is not happy floating like this. It wants to float like that. So it's about weight distribution and the specific geometry that it has that allows it to do that. You can look at the cross section of it here. I'll put it upside down for a second here. You can kind of see the bottom contours of that hull there. We're going to have lots of pictures online so you guys can check it out.
And give it a little once over.
You guys can go online and go ahead and check out all the pictures and stuff. We'll have it. We'll basically, we have a couple of videos on YouTube that'll be nothing but boat porn. And then we'll have a bunch of pictures on the website itself, so you guys can get nice and comfy with the idea of what you'll actually be buying. At this point, we can do completely customized color options. We don't paint things yet. As our production develops, we might have to get into that. We will not do anything that compromises the performance of these boats, ever. The entire hull, the entire boat has been optimized to exist in the waves in the ocean. So you can run this in salt water. In fact, I recommend it, because that's what I designed it for. Flat water boat racing can be fun. To me, I always got kind of bored with it. Once I got a taste of driving these things in the waves, it was just something that is completely addicting, and I know it will be for you guys too. For people who are landlocked, I'm sorry, obviously you can run it in the lake, you can run it in the ocean, you can run it anywhere. So far we haven't found a condition that we can't drive it in, except for like really seaweed infested places, because stuff gets caught on the rudder and the prop. There's ways around that too that we're developing. We'll get to that later, maybe next year. I mean, obviously there's some things that you shouldn't run it in, like if you happen to live near like a lake full of acid or lava, it won't do well in those environments.
It's true.
I don't feel like I need to say that. Anyhow, we're going to go into the features list of why this thing is awesome and what it comes with and what you can expect from it. Back to the most awesome RC boat in the world. I'm going to show you why it is worth the pretty penny that we are asking for it. Major feature of this boat is obviously its watertight integrity. It keeps all your electronics dry on the inside. Most of them are waterproofed anyway. And then we actually apply waterproof coatings to most of the electronics that don't come waterproof from the manufacturer. The way we do that is by using this cool neoprene seal. You can see here, you can zoom in a little bit. Ooh, squishy neoprene seal. Goes all the way around. The entire structure of this hatch is designed to exert forces evenly around the entire seal at the same time. With one bolt. That was hard. I hope you appreciate it. Anyway. You screw that one bolt down and it completely compresses the seal all the way around. So far we've launched these boats upwards of 20, maybe 25 feet in the air so far, and they haven't had leaks. But we are constantly developing improvements to it to make it even more stupid proof. Outside of the boat, obviously this here is called a propeller. It's genuine Octura. It's a X438 two-bladed Octura propeller. They work great. This is what we've gotten the best all-around performance with. Honestly, the boat is stupid fast for ocean conditions. If there's any kind of chop in the water, you can't get much faster than 25-30 miles an hour anyway. So it'll do way more than that. And I'm sure some of you guys out there are just going to make these things scream. Downstream from that, we have our rudder here. Production model rudders will most likely be machined out of solid aluminum, because on rare occasions we've actually had issues where these little set screws right here, can you zoom in on that dude right there? Mm-hmm. These little set screws right here sometimes will strip out in the plastic ones. It's very rare, but it does happen. We're probably going to end up making those rudders in-house out of aluminum blocks on our CNC back there. You can see here another feature. Underneath that rudder, if you zoom in a lot, you can see this little black membrane right there. Right there, I don't even know if you can see it. Just trust me, it's there. That is a seal, and there's a seal on the other side, very similar to it on the top underneath there, and that's what helps us seal up our stuffing tube for our rudder. Another important feature of this thing, keeps it watertight in all kinds of stupid conditions. What the rudder rotates on is a 1/4 inch solid steel axle. We have managed to actually bend one of those. It's hard to do, but it does happen. But luckily this entire system is replaceable, and we'll have a tutorial on how to do that. Other stuff on the bottom. Obviously this is your stuffing tube, exits through the bottom of the boat. Very strong. We built the shit out of it. It's not going to break. It's got double brass sleeves all over the important stuff, so it's just fine there. This is the water cooling intake, right? Scoops up water, goes through the entire system, cools everything off, and it gets spit out here. That's the water cooling exit. Okay, so now we're at the top side of the boat, on the inside of it. The first thing I'll go through is, this is the motor that we use. It is a TP 4070 1440 kV at this point, although we've been testing the 1000 kV motors and it is still stupid fast, so we might just end up using that one instead. Some of you guys are speed freaks, you might want the faster kV. We might have selectable options for that in the future. This is the motor that we use. It's big. You'll notice that on the inside of the boat here there's something on top of the motor. That is the water cooling jacket. It is very important. It keeps everything cool enough to run in a closed environment where there is no air circulation or anything like that. It runs cold water over the motor. It outputs into a really, really high quality shaft collet that we've got here. It's all stainless steel. It connects to a 1/4 inch steel drive shaft, which is just huge. This drive shaft is usually made for like much larger boats. We have to shorten it quite a bit to fit in our drivetrain. We've only had one failure on one of these, and that's because I screwed it up massively. It goes in through the stuffing tube, and it goes through this little dude right here, which is a grease fitting with a shaft seal on the inside, which means you don't get salt water inside of the boat through the stuffing tube, which is another majorly important feature on a boat that goes into salt water. As much as possible, you like to keep the salt water out of your boat, so we use these things available from Offshore Electrics, and other places too, I think, but I don't know, we get them from there. They're a built-in grease fitting and a shaft seal, and they get bonded on to the outside of your brass stuffing tube. And they work great. We haven't had an issue with any of them so far, and we're going to keep using them. They're expensive, but this is part of why the boat is so awesome. I guess the next part of the drivetrain we can go through is the speed control, which you can see here. So it's proper name brand Turnigy speed control. We were using a higher end speed control, but we realized that this thing does everything we need it to do, and it's happy about it. We haven't been able to break one yet. That's great news. But it's got an onboard BEC, which means you don't need an external power supply to power your receiver or servo. That's good news. It's also got a capacitor bank right here, which we were installing separately in the other speed controls. So what this capacitor bank here does is basically when you're hooking up high voltage setups to the leads here, it reduces the impact of the initial voltage kick to the speed control, so everything lasts longer. And it's also got a cool little on-off switch that we just bolt to the thing here. So yeah, that's the speed control. It's water cooled. It's 180 amp max, 6-cell maximum. And like I said before, on 6 cells this boat is already stupid fast. We tested it on 8 cells and there's really no benefit of it because the hull just won't stay in the water at that point. It just gets stupid. Alright, so that's the speed control. Everything is wired together on the power system side with 8mm gold bullet connectors, usually of some high quality name brand. Castle makes good ones, Offshore Electrics makes their own, they're all really good, so we use we will not use crap on this boat. We will be using all high quality equipment, high quality hardware, because we just hate dealing with bullshit. So we're using those on all the connections. Everything comes pre-soldered, everything comes pre-done, so your connections to your batteries go here. Your motor speed control are separatable. A lot of people solder them together. I don't, because if something breaks, I want to be able to quickly replace it and change it and not heat everything while I'm doing it. I guess I'll go into the battery strapping mechanism now. This was super cool. We got tired of dealing with Velcro straps because it's kind of a pain in the butt and it makes the interior of the boat look kind of messy. This one's got a neat little layout to it. It's got Velcro pads here on the bottom, right? And that prevents any forward and aft movement. And then to prevent the batteries from, ejecting through the hull if you land upside down coming off of like a 20-foot air or something, this thing gets screwed down over the batteries, which I'll put in now. You put in the battery here, and you put in your battery here, and then you take your cool little hold down thingy jingy battery strap and you screw it down into the hole there, finger tight, and then you can tighten it up with a wrench afterwards, which I don't have handy, but you guys can imagine it. And you compress it down like that, and then suddenly your batteries don't come out. Isn't that neat? It's not going anywhere. The batteries, they don't come out. I don't even tighten it down. I'm tired now. That's our cool little battery strap. That was a major innovation, and we're really happy about that because it makes everything a lot easier. And the cool thing is, if your driving conditions change or the style you want to drive in changes, let's say you're going from flat water to jumps, or trying to turn the ocean into like a quarter pipe, you can shift your batteries around. You can shift them all the way forward, and that keeps the batteries in a more nose down attitude while you're in the air, so you can do different kinds of airs and different kinds of tricks. It surfs a little different like that. But anyway, with these packs, we've got about 3 inches of adjustability fore and aft, and that changes things a lot. So it's pretty fun to play with. You can tune it for different conditions, different sizes of waves, different kinds of chop, stuff like that. I'm going to the batteries now too. Now I get a little bit bitchy about batteries. Dylan knows this.
It's true.
Sorry. There's lots and lots of battery manufacturers out there. Obviously, some are cheaper than others. We have found over the years of doing this that especially in an aquatic environment where all of your electronics are basically hermetically sealed from the environment, there is no circulating air. We needed batteries that were going to be able to put up with the amp ratings that this system was going to put on it. And it's a lot, because it's a huge motor, it's a big speed control, you can dump a lot of power through the power system, and the batteries need to be able to put up with that without getting too hot. The best performance we've had so far is with Max Amps. We're not sponsored by them, we don't even get deals from them, but we're hoping that eventually maybe we can because we love them. Anyway, this is a 12,000 milliamp 3-cell. This is also a 12,000 milliamp 3-cell. They're both rated at a true 100C discharge rating. We have had so much good running time with these batteries that I recommend sincerely that you guys actually use these.
It's been really impressive.
Yeah, they're expensive. 2-3 times more expensive than the lower end batteries, but I can't stress enough that you get what you pay for. Not to mention that the conditions that once you guys are driving this thing and see what it can do, you're just going to want to do more and more and more with it. You're going to be driving it harder and harder and harder, and the cheaper batteries generally will not be able to put up with that, and you could actually risk a fire on board the boat. We haven't actually had that happen, but like I said, I can't just stress enough that these are really, really high quality batteries, and there are other really high quality battery manufacturers out there. I recommend that you stick with them. Pay the money and just stick with them. Anyway, Max Amps, good stuff. I guess next downstream is the cooling system here. I showed you on the bottom the intake and the output. On the top side of it, we have the intake here. Goes up underneath the battery hold down bridge, up through here, everything's zip tied down. It goes to the speed control first, comes out of the speed control, goes through the motor, comes out of the motor, and goes back outside of the boat through the discharge tube. It keeps everything pretty cool. I was skeptical at first. When we were first doing these, we had 2 different cooling circuits, one for the speed control, one for the motor. We've had pretty good luck with one. It's less holes to drill, and less holes mean there's less structure compromise on the boat, which is a good thing. That's our cooling system. And then I'll go to the steering system here. The steering system needed to be really robust. I told you guys earlier that there's a 1/4-inch rudder axle that goes through this whole thing. It's got an aluminum steering arm here that we make here in-house. It's got a plastic dog bone here. That's your failure point, so it's a cheap plastic thing that breaks if something goes wrong. Our servo is a name brand High performance, but still fairly economical. It's made by High-Tech. It's an HS5646 waterproof, digital, programmable metal gear. We've had great luck with this servo. Every piece of gear in here just goes to show that we're only using stuff that we actually consider is reliable, and it'll actually give you the best performance we can give you. Next feature, in terms of radio gear, we are using Spectrum stuff. Right now, the boats will come with an SR310 2.4 gigahertz Spectrum receiver, which we use with this DX2E remote. So far, we've had really good luck with this. Yeah. Alright, so the versions of the boat that we're going to offer for sale. We're going to offer a version of the boat that is just the hull only, for you guys out there who want to put your own power system and everything in it yourself. We spent a lot of time tuning this thing to the point where we feel like if you were to buy the ready-to-run version, that there aren't really any upgrades you can make to it. But if you feel like you want to build your own anyway, we do have on our website a recommended list of equipment that will fit right into it. And then we'll have the power system only version, which will include the motor, the speed control, and the servo, and everything all set up. Then we'll have the ready-to-run version, which is basically everything you need except for batteries and a charger. Those are the three versions we're planning on selling. Yeah, and then no matter what version you buy, the driveline will be completely set up. When you're at the checkout line, hopefully, on our website, there will be an option to buy a tool package for an extra $100, for an extra amount of dollars, for buying this package of tools from us. Now, before you just buy away, let me just show you how super special this group of tools is. These are 4 different Allen wrench sizes, 3 different crescent wrench sizes, a Phillips head screwdriver, a bottle that we use to rinse the power system, which you can do with just about anything. I even use my mouth sometimes, but this makes things easier. You fill it up and then just like you put it in the tube and then you squeeze it and then it flushes out your power system. It's good. Gotta rinse it after every run. And this is our grease syringe thing. Now this might look like a monoject syringe with the tip clipped off and a piece of tubing zip tied to the end of it, and that's because that is exactly what it is. So yeah. But yeah, if you guys feel like you want to hit the buy button on this collection of crap that you can probably get on Amazon for less than what we're charging, then go ahead and do that, because it saves us a pain in the ass and it saves you guys money, and none of this is very special stuff anyway. So we'll also have a link on where to get this stuff, but if you just feel like you want to be lazy and click the button and give us money, thanks. So yeah, that's the tool package. Yeah, so now I'm sure you guys are going to have a bunch of modifications you're going to want to do to this thing anyway, no matter what version you get, because honestly, once you get into the waves and you see how this thing handles, you're going to want to try things. Help recommend things for the next versions and follow-ons, and then hopefully we can have an entire successful little community all driving these things together in the weekend. That's my little pipe dream anyhow. Let's sell some boats! Hope you guys like it. We're going to show you some boat porn here now and for a few seconds, and then hopefully we can sell you guys some boats and have fun with you in the water. Thanks, bye. See what was that? Okay, you can speak.
I gave you a thumbs up. Okay, we're good.
When it beeps like that, it's recording, right?
It is.
Like the... We're gonna have to bleep a lot of this. Alright,